Hey guys,
and
and
welcome
welcome
to the
to
Bayern View.
the Bayern
Every
View.
guys are all
Hope you
doing
guys are all
well.
doing well.
As you can
As you
see,
can see,
we got the main
we got the
man,
main man,
Dale Augustus,
Dale
in the
Augustus,
building.
in the building.
Thank you for coming
Thank
on,
you for
bro.
coming on, bro.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the invitation, man.
No, 100%, bro.
100%, bro.
100%.
100%.
So
So
I've got
I've
some,
got some,
yeah. So yeah, first things first. I was just how did you become a Bayern fan, bro?
It's always a good question. Well, for me, it was quite easy. My dad was a Bayern fan. My brother was a Real Madrid fan. My other cousin was a Barcelona fan. So I had to kind of choose, and my dad was the only one not trying to push me away because my brother and my other cousin were quite big fans of their teams, and they wanted to be the only fans in the family of those teams. So yeah, it was Bayern, and I think the 2001 final in the Champions League versus Valencia kind of cemented that. I liked the game. I was a kid, but yeah, watching Effenberg actually, who I have now as an avatar, kind of made me a real diehard Bayern fan. And since then, yeah, things didn't change. So I grew up being Bayern fan, being Effenberg fan, then Elbert and other players. But yeah, Bayern grew with me, and basically we are here today. So yeah, hopefully I will pass that to my kids as well someday.
Yeah, most definitely. But mine's kind of similar in the fact
Yeah.
player-wise. Because obviously I'm English, so I get loads of people, why are you not supporting the Prem team and all of this. But mine's Iron Robin.
Yeah.
So,
But which goal, which game, if you can still remember?
first game, I can't remember the first game, but I remember watching him miss the penalty, which really hurt. Do you know the Champions League final against Chelsea?
Yeah, of course. That
one.
penalty in the extra time, yeah.
Yeah, that one hurt. Man.
Painful as it gets, but I think that's also why I kind of have this love-hate relationship with Arjen Robben. I think at that time, after 2012, it was really hard to be a fan of him. Like, I really struggled. I was like, God damn, like, he got us all the way here, and now he was, to me, a bit more selfish than before. But then, yeah, 2013 happened, and you could see his quality, and I think that made me respect him a lot more, because it takes a lot of courage to lose, and then still try to win, and I think that's Arjen Robben. Yeah,
the way he got that goal in 2013, wow,
unbelievable.
Watch it all the time, man.
Unbelievable. Yeah, the touch is perfect.
Yeah.
So that was the goal that made you Bayern fan.
Kind of, yeah.
Fair enough.
What would be your favourite moment as a Bayern fan?
Yeah, I think 2013 still. For me, probably it was tough. I think after 2010, in 2012 to lose two finals. I would say 2012 was probably the toughest moment as a Bayern fan. Like, it really felt like the end of the world, like that. Like, I didn't expect us to lose, to be honest, against Chelsea. I thought we were winning that game, then Muller scored, and then I was like, okay, it's over, we won it, and then Drogba, and you know how it went. So that was really tough, and I think 2013, right after, to come back and see those wins and see the team go on and win it all, I think that was very special. I don't think you get to experience those moments with any other team. So yeah, losing two finals in the Champions League 2 years before and then winning it was probably the most special moment as a Bayern fan, for sure.
Yeah, most definitely. It might be a stupid question, but favorite player?
Yeah, I think Effenberg, like, all time, probably him, because I think there was that like link between me as a kid, between me playing football, between the player I wanted to be, and he represented all of that. Like that arrogance with aggressivity, like midfielder who could do it all, but still had that confidence to go on and push. Like the final in 2001 as a kid, I think like really cemented the way I wanted to play and the way I tried to play and everything. So I was like 7, and I started playing football around that time, and all I wanted to do was to be like him. Like I tried to wear the jersey like him, act like him, and I think that like that player probably is not the best player in Bayern's history, but for me played a huge role as a fan of Bayern and as a football fan in general.
Yeah. No, I'm really I didn't. I've seen clips of him.
Yeah,
but not like full games or anything. But obviously you've had so many icons before Robben's time.
Absolutely.
So, I would have loved to watch like Beckenbauer, Gerd Müller, just to name a couple, obviously. Now I'm very against Thomas Tuchel, right?
Okay.
And one of the main reasons I want to get you on, other than obviously that we've been in communication, is
Sure.
I want to know your opinion on Thomas Tuchel.
Yeah, I think it's a tough situation in general because he came around. Yeah, like he came in the wrong time, to be honest. I was not a fan of that move from day one. Then was him the chosen one, and then I kind of understood the idea behind it, but I would have kept Nagelsmann if I had the choice. Now he came, it was tough. He didn't know the squad as well as he thought he did, I believe. A lot of his choices didn't match the things that we experienced before. I think he had like his own ideas, and Nagelsmann tried some of them, and then he tried them again, which eventually didn't work. But I think that now I see more the Thomas Tuchel I know. The last 3 games, I think we've been quite interested in tactically. I like how he changed the second half against Gladbach. I love how flexible he was. I expected that from him, to like question your ideas as well, question your game plan as well when things are not going right, because I think against Gladbach things were not going that well in the first half. Defensively we did well, even though we conceded, but offensively I think we were quite struggling and the game plan was not working. Simply as simple as that. But yeah, the 3 first Bundesliga games, I think he did very well. I think he's an excellent coach. I get people that doubt him, but I would say like give him more time, because yeah, he came at the wrong time, and that probably didn't help his start at Bayern for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, bro. I'm with you on that one. We do. I have noticed the echo. Don't worry about it, bro. We can do it this way because it's coming from, I think, my mic. So I'll just mute and then we'll talk from there. But either way, I want to progress with the show. So as always, people, get some comments in, get your questions in, so on and so forth, and we'll go from there. And then if you've got any questions for Augustus or me, put them in the chat. If you're new, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, go and follow him. I'm pretty sure you already are, but if not, then please do go and follow. The next thing I want to talk about, bro, and I get your point on Tuchel, without a doubt. I understand where you're coming from, but do you think he will last?
Yeah, it's tough. I think so. I think he started very well. Now he's a very demanding coach, and sometimes that doesn't go well with the Bayern board. I think he's clearly in the right now. As I've said, we kind of like, I don't know if I can say the word, but fucked it up in all reality at the last 2 days. I think we should not have sold some players that fast. But yeah, it happens, like it's part of it, and I think we can still go in January. But it's true that the squad is thin, that he has to work with it, and I think he's a very demanding coach. So would he last? It's tough. It would depend on the result. It would depend on how he works with the squad, because I feel like now he also has a golden opportunity to really build this squad. Like, it's nice to go and show a lot of love to new players, and also like show a lot of love to certain targets, but you have to not forget the players you have as well. You have a squad and you win games with that squad, so you have to keep everyone happy. I think Lothar Matthäus talked about it before, but I think he was right as well. Yeah, you have to keep everyone happy, and his first job is to cater to the squad we have, because we cannot like buy 11 players this summer. So yeah, I think he needs to work on a few things. The Bayern board needs to work on a few things. We brought a sporting director for that. He needs to work with him as well, and yeah, as long as he's cooperative and everyone is cooperative, I think he will last, because I think the results will definitely follow. But yeah, if you keep demanding too much, it might be tough as well.
Yeah, no. I'm definitely with you on that one, bro. I can see that. For me personally, it's just more the fact that I never wanted him, and I think that's why I am very against Thomas Tuchel being the manager personally. But at the same time, all I care about, just like everyone probably watching this, and people maybe watching this after it's live and whatever, all I care about is Bayern. Nothing else. Don't care about anything else. So if Homer Simpson was the bloody manager, you know what I mean, and he's, as long as he's doing well, I don't really care, and that's just obviously my point of view anyway.
I absolutely share it. Like I have this thing with, I might not like certain signings, but once they wear the Bayern shirt, for me, they're part of the team. Like I don't like those who held agendas and stuff. Yeah, if they don't perform after a certain amount of time, it's proper to criticize them. But then there's no need to start criticizing them from game one. Even those I didn't want, like Bunasar was probably one of the players that from day one I said there's no point, and even after he was signed, I supported him. Same with Mane and others. Like I think that the moment you wear the Bayern shirt, you deserve our support, because you also made the effort to come here. Now, yeah, if things don't go well after a certain amount of time, I get you. But why do you not like Tuchel? That's a good question. I don't know.
For me, the reason I just don't like the way that he plays football. Personally, I don't actually know why. It's like I don't hate him. I don't hate the way he looks or anything like that. I'm not like that, and I don't get personal with things. I hate when people do that. Like when people go at his wife, and not necessarily him, but when people go personal and all of that, kid's wife, all that crap. I hate when people do that. But generally, like, I just haven't liked when he was at Dortmund. I wasn't a massive fan of him being a Bayern fan, but PSG, Chelsea, all of these, I don't really like the way that he plays the game. The way that, well, no, he doesn't play the game, but the way that he manages the game. And to be honest with you, I've always said that I think that that Champions League, congratulations for him getting it. But for me, I think Frank Lampard got him to that final, and Pep Guardiola in the final overcomplicated things personally.
Sure. I think it's a fair point. Like sometimes you don't like how a certain coach approaches the game or his ideas. It's part of it. So yeah, I think it's understandable. Now, I personally think he did a great job at Dortmund. But again, there's always these little things with Thomas Tuchel that lead to problems at the end, and I hope that we avoid that at Bayern at least. I appreciate his honesty. He's a 100% guy. Like, he's always very honest with his opinions. Now at Bayern, you need a little bit of maybe, I don't know how we call it, but it's basically politics. Some knowledge on what to say, how to say it. The way he went against the players, for example, in after the Super Cup game, that was not something I appreciate as a fan. And I think that even if they did something wrong, there was a lot of tactical issues as well. So you have to always look at yourself as well and see what you did wrong. And I feel like in that game especially, he didn't. But yeah, now things are changing. And I think that 3 wins help at least push the team forward before the next 2 games.
Yeah, no, I definitely know where you're coming from. Definitely, and maybe it is just the fact that I don't like the way that he plays, manages the game or whatever. Maybe that is the case. On Tuchel though, one thing I do have to give him credit for. We'll get into some of the players that I have want to know your opinions on in a minute. But On Tuchel though, what do you think of the game yesterday when he went all out attack?
Yeah, I think he did very well. The first half, I think it was a bit of a surprise for me. Like also the way Gladbach prepared the game, I think they did very well, minimizing with closing like the half spaces for Bayern players, and like Sané, Coman had no space basically, and then you add like Muller and Kane trying to roam around the same area. That was complicating the game way too much, and we were honestly not finding any space and any danger or any opportunity. We could not create goals the way we used to. Now that's something that can happen. That you get surprised in the first half, and I really appreciate how he went about it in the second half. I think that bringing on Conrad was great. Yeah, great call. Mazraoui was good, but he had that tendency to invert way too much. And Conrad came in, brought a lot of energy, brought a lot of like width as well, because he stayed way too wide most of the time, and he could like overlap, and had that energy to create danger constantly. That I think helped free Leroy Sané at least. And yeah, he's the one who scored the goal, so he could make more runs. And in general, I think changing a little bit our approach, going from fullbacks staying wide to wingers staying wide, staying next to the touchline was a great tactical switch. I wanted to actually make a video about that to show people how and what really happened. But I think it was a great move. It was very calculated. He knew that Gladbach could not really react to that because they had basically one game plan, and they were hoping to make it work. Now, once we equalized, they tried to keep it as tight as possible. But yeah, we could manage to get a second goal, and I think that was very important for the win. Through a corner, actually, as well. So yeah, great.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. Definitely, like it took balls. It definitely took balls to do that, because at the end of the day that could have gone very, very wrong. Obviously, the goal we conceded was very unlucky to concede. Obviously, a bit of lack of concentration from the defenders, but yeah, like again, like I said, it takes balls to go and do that. But personally.
For sure. For me, I think, yeah, it takes balls, but also it takes a lot of like knowledge. I feel like for once he react fully to his game plan, and he could like go all the way in. I feel like last year when he came to the Bundesliga, he was kind of surprised most of the time as well. Like I look at certain teams and I know kind of how they play, and I still see him not really changing towards that, or like against Leipzig as well. Like he should have done few changes, but not really changed the whole structure. And I think going from 4-2-3-1 to a 4-1-4-1 was not a great call, especially against a team that's really good on the counter, very fast. And I think it was again quite surprised. Now, yeah, this game was good. I expect a lot more from him. I also expect a lot from his staff as well. Like we brought Anthony Barry, I think his name is, for the set pieces, and like so far we've been underwhelming to say the least. So yeah, I kind of expect a lot more from everyone around Tuchel, but not only him. But also, yeah, that's very important. If you show the board that things are going well and the team is working well and our goals are reachable, then I'm 100% they will invest. I think that's a big part of how Bayern operates. So as a coach, you have to back your talk, and yeah, this is the year where he has to back his talk. So I expect 2 wins in the next 2 games. I think anything less will be not enough. But yeah, I expect us to get to January in a good shape. I think we have a good squad still. People don't agree, but that's their opinion. For me, we have great squad. We have enough to like reach January in a good position, show the board that we can reach our goals, that we can maybe achieve a treble, and then let them do the work, because I'm sure then they will spend, and they will back this team as much as possible.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. I think we've got a good squad. I do agree with you on that one. Obviously, there's lack of depth in certain positions, which is, most clubs have that unless you're City, Man City. But no, I'm with you on that one. What do you think of him going all out for Harry Kane, though?
Yeah, I think it's, like there were two options on the market for me that were really that good, that you would go very crazy about them. Probably the third one would be Kolomwani, but other than that, it was Osimhen and Kane. Um, and Kane brings a lot more experience, a lot less risk. And yeah, you understand the need for that move, and the fact that he's still hungry, he still needs to win titles, I think really helps. Osimhen as well is still hungry, still want to win titles. But Kane brings a lot more experience, a lot more level-headed type of player, and we need that. We needed that leadership, especially when Thomas Muller is not on the pitch. You kind of see how Kane, brings the players forward and keeps pushing this team, and I think that was really important. We have Leroy Sané, Musiala, Coman usually around him. They're very, very good players, quite experienced as well for some, like Coman and Sané, but still, a player of Kane caliber is someone who brings the whole team forward. I expected that from him. I think he's doing very well in the first few games. Sometimes he drops way too much for my liking, which is fine. I just don't think he has the speed and pace to recover, especially in the Bundesliga. So usually I expect him to still try to be a number 9. And yeah, but with Musiala it happens a lot less. I think with Muller, just the issue of them trying to so far occupy the same zone. And Muller is obviously, or that last game didn't go as well as expected. But yeah, we didn't have space enough to make that magic work, and they occupied the same zone. So I think that's the only issue so far for me is how can Kane really adapt a little bit his style for Bayern, and yeah, how can we get the best out of him, because he's not that young anymore. So we need to make the best out of this signing in the next 3-4 years. That's also why I see this project as a long term, but still not that long term project. So for me, it's like 2 years to get the best squad in Europe, and I think that we can do it if we keep improving slowly like this, with a clear leadership, clear goals, signing as many top talents as we can as well, making sure they have the right pathway to the first team, and yeah, continuing our what we build in our project.
Yeah, no, I agree. I just think the drop in deep thing, I think I know that obviously he doesn't have that pace like you said, but he's always been a player that doesn't really rely on pace. I think a lot of the time he's doing it to confuse defenders. Maybe I look at it a bit differently. I don't know. But I think sometimes he does it just to, because if he's an out and out 9, just tries to stay near the box, obviously then they can mark him. But I think sometimes he tries to confuse the defenders, drop deep. Like the other the match yesterday, he was in the box getting rid of it from one of the crosses, which was really surprising. But what do you? Obviously, we spoke about Kane. What do you think on the signing of Kim Min-jae?
Best possible center back, I think, on the market. I really love that player. I said it last year. For me, when I was watching Napoli, I didn't watch them that much, but the few games I watched him, he always impressed me. His speed, the way he understands the game, the way he understands the play. He reads everything. He's always aware of his surroundings, aware of where his teammates are. Excellent player. I think quite smart, level-headed, humble as well. I really love the signings we made, because more than the quality they bring, they also have an excellent personality that matches Bayern. I think Kane and Kim are two excellent players to have in your squad. Two great human beings as well, and it shows. For me, the thing about Kim is that I didn't even expect him to be a starter this fast. I thought it would still be Upamecano and Matthias de Ligt. But yeah, Matthias was not as ready as we thought. It took him a little bit more time, and Kim took that opportunity to start. I think so far he did great. Excellent player as well. As I said, last year when he didn't feature in the Champions League, I think it was against AC Milan, if I remember correctly. But I said it back then that he was one of the best players in the world that season, and you could see his absence, because I was watching most of their Champions League games, and every time it was impressive. It was absolutely impressive, and I'm looking forward to have him this year in the Champions League as well. I think he really adds a lot to our team. I would be honest, I'm even happier than I would be having Lucas Hernandez. And I used to love Lucas Hernandez. I just think he's not as reliable of a player as one could be. I think his injuries were a little bit too much in the last few years, and now we have someone who's ready. We also have Matthias de Ligt, who will keep this duo like trying their best, and yeah, we have great competition. We need a fourth center back, obviously, but that will come in January, hopefully.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one. We will talk about January in a minute. But what do you think on the two free signings in Konrad Lima and Guerrero?
Well, for me, Conrad is a great player. I said it all the time. It's a player I would have in my squad any day, anytime he's available, especially for free. I will take him. Now I can see his ambition to be a starter. For me, he's not yet a starter at Bayern, or he's not at that level, maybe. But I see him as this type of squad player that really improves the team, that can come off the bench and change a game like against Gladbach. That can also come off the bench and secure a win. He brings a lot to the pitch, a lot of energy, big ball winner, big player going forward. His runs are so underestimated. He's so smart, and yeah, he always is a dangerous player to face, especially in the big game. So having him in the Champions League on the bench is absolutely great. I'm very happy with him. I think he should stay as part of our squad for few more years, and I think he's already bringing a little bit more than Sabitzer did in the first few games. So yeah, I think he will work out quite well. The coach will love him. I think any coach loves a player like Lamer. Yeah. Now, yeah. When it comes to Guerrero, for me, I like him. I think he's an excellent player in terms of like certain things. He's great passing. He's not for me the best left back that was available in the market. Maybe not the one I would have picked. Now he's a very versatile player, and that's what he brings to this team. So in a time like this, when we have a very thin squad, I love the fact that we have Guerrero, and I think I can see the idea behind signing him, because he can like fill in 2-3 roles as much as Lamer as well. These two players can help when you have a thin squad. So there were two good options. They were available for free on the market. Guerrero can still win you a lot of games, even though defensively I'm not sure I'm his biggest fan as a left back. But in the midfield or as a left wing back, I think he brings a lot. I think he's good competition for Davis. Now we have Davis who's back at his level, so that also helps. So yeah, for me, these are two good players that were available for free. We got them. I think we should thank Brazo for that. I think it was his job basically, and it was his two last signings for the club. And yeah, so far they're doing well. Guerrero, he's not there, but Lamer is quite helpful so far.
Yeah, no, I understand where you're coming from, without a doubt. I think the versatility of him playing right back, CDM, and then obviously also Guerrero getting them, and then we both got them for free. Proven Bundesliga talent. I'm with you on that one, without a doubt. I'm with you on that one. What do you think on transfers though? What do you think on the deadline day thing that was, we're looking at Chalobah, we're looking at Bella Kocha, Polina, and then none of them happen.
Yeah, it was a tough day. So for me, I think that we tried way too late for certain players. If you knew you will move for a defensive midfielder, I feel like we should have been a bit earlier on Palhinha, I think his name is, who I think is someone who brings a lot to the team defensively. Now, I have some, I would say, opinions on him on the ball. I think is a bit limited, but maybe I don't know him enough, so I don't want to be like the one judging him all the time. A lot of people disagree with me, and a lot of players go on to prove me wrong. So I think the club would try again for him in January, and I think that, as I've said in one tweet, Bayern does not forget, and Bayern won't forget what he did. So I think that the club owes him maybe that one, and if we can grab him in January, could be nice. Tuchel seems to love him. I see the idea on bringing him. I see why he would be useful to this team, and yeah, we can all like back that transfer. Hopefully, it could happen or it will happen. The other transfers as well, I think, like, for me, Bela Kotchap was the one that really kept me a little bit more disappointed, I would say, because I thought he would bring that fourth center back role, play it as well as possible. He could also like fill in for other roles. He was available for a loan. I don't see and I don't understand how we missed that on that one. I think it was big miss. Because as much as for Joao, I think there was the fact that Fulham needed to find a replacement, and that made things a little bit more complicated. But yeah, for Bela Kotchap, I think it was a big miss from us. I think it was probably the worst deal we tried and missed because he was available on loan. We needed him. It was a good solution for now, and we still didn't do it. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I get you 100%. Bayern now, George is in here. He said, tell Augustus, Xavi Simons just scored a rocket against Union Berlin. On like our midfield situation, like obviously Tuchel wants the six and so on. What do you think of the Goretzka Kimmich duo, and do you think it will work this season?
Let me first say that, yeah, I knew that Xavi Simons would do very well in the Bundesliga, and I'm very happy. I've seen a lot of people doubt that move, especially that he was alone. And I told people, you know, if someone can come in and help you win certain games, yeah, you should sign them, even if it's on loan, especially being Leipzig. You know, they don't have the budget of Bayern, they don't have the appeal of Bayern. So I think they did better than Dortmund, and maybe a lot of people who doubted that move now can understand what's happening and can see the results. So yeah, that's good. If you can just repeat your question, I'm sorry, but I was checking the results.
No, it's absolutely fine, bro. Absolutely fine. Basically, what I was saying is obviously Tuchel wanted a six, and that's why we were going for Polina. What do you make of the Kimmich and Goretzka duo? Because last season, you know, it was like Goretzka would either be okay and Kimmich would be bad, or it would be like the other way around. Like, do you think that duo this season will work?
Yeah, good question. I think that you have to make it work. You know, I understand the Bayern board. I understand where they're coming from. I know a lot of people don't like Goretzka today. I don't even understand why. He's not maybe the most aesthetical player, I think we could say. He's not the most pleasing, not the best on the eye, but you know, he's someone who does a lot of things really well. Defensively, I think he can improve, and on the ball, he can improve, and probably, you know, bringing another defensive midfielder would improve this team, and I'm all for that. Now, the issue for me is that most of the games Bayern have the ball, and as a defensive midfielder, it's good to be great defensively, but you still have to do a lot on the ball. And that's the issue with Goretzka today. I see him and I'm like, okay, sometimes he doesn't see certain passes, he doesn't like pick up the right pass, it's not the right. It's not well executed, it's not the perfect weight on it, and a lot of things like that. And as someone who also played that position a bit, you know, it's really tough and it's not as easy as people think. So when you are playing for Bayern under a lot of pressure, being forced to move the ball fast, having to create, you know, like space for others, having to move the ball the right time and stuff. So I kind of expect a lot more from Goretzka, but I also expect a lot from the defensive midfielder that we want to sign. So that's why, and that was mainly my issue with Paulina, because maybe I didn't watch him enough. I fully admit, but also like looking at his stats, it's really not that good. Even if people want to say, okay, Fulham plays this way, okay, Fulham is defensive team, but still, you know, that does not explain anything, because if you look at other defensive midfielders in the same league, in the same level, at similar clubs, and you can see that, you know, they pass better, or they have at least better stats in terms of like forward passing, carries, and stuff like that. So that was my issue basically, because I wanted someone who can not only replace Goretzka but can perform better than him on the ball and as good defensively. That's maybe the issue between me and what other people see or think we need as a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, no, and I get you. On the defensive midfielder though, and I understand, and I've seen it on socials, and obviously you would have seen it as well. Like I know a lot of people are very 50-50 on Polina. What do you like with the six though? Who do you think is going to be sacrificed?
I think clearly Goretzka. I feel sad for him, but yeah, the way Bayern wants to play is. I talked about it in one of the threads I made, but Bayern want to slow down possession. We've seen it as well against Gladbach. We want to get in position, get in control, and then speed the game as we like. That's something that, for example, Rodri does really, really well. He's probably one of the best or the best in the world right now at it. He knows how to pick up the right pass. If you can just see the last, I think the second or third goal from Man City, you will see him like passing the ball back, then passing the ball back, and then at one point he's like, okay, this is the moment, and then he sets Foden, who then pass it to Haaland, and that's a goal. So you need those type of players who really can read the game that well, who knows when the space is opening, or who knows when they have to like break lines and put that pass in, put the right weight on it, and know that would create a goal. And also they know when they should not pass forward and they should not like tempt, because we would lose the ball and it would be a dangerous counter. So that's something I expect from my next defensive midfielder. That's something that Goretzka does not do that well yet. And so yeah, pushing Kimmich forward will make us lose that that like quality in our midfield. So I expect the next one to be able to do that as much as Rodri does it, or maybe Thomas Tuchel expects someone more like Stones, who will like try and cover for Rodri. I really don't know what he exactly wants from this double pivot, because at times they say he wants Kimmich a lot more forward, so then that's something different. But I also think maybe he wants Kimmich and Palina on the same level, a little bit similar to Stones and Rodri. So Rodri does a little bit go more forward, but yeah, he's usually covered and stuff like that. So I think that's maybe the case here.
Yeah, no. I get you on that one. What do you think happens with Goretzka though? Because he's not going to want to sit on the bench though, is he?
I don't think so. No, I think he's not a player as well of like bad quality. So he will have few teams on him, and he will have great offers coming in. So yeah, we should not worry about that. I like him as a player. Now, obviously, if the coach doesn't agree but wants someone better, why not? As long as the results are good. So that's where I really back Bayern's board. As a coach, you have to put in the right performances, give the board, something to like look forward to, make them understand it was a big need. When he talked about Declan Rice, we went all in. We tried to really sign him because we saw what he could bring to this team, and I think he was the best DM available and would have really helped us. But Declan Rice and Palina for me are not the same players. And that's why I had doubts, about the second one and not the first one. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I know where you're coming from, most definitely. What do you think happens with? I know obviously we spoke about his versatility in that, but what do you think happens with Lima then? Because obviously he is a midfielder, but do you think he's going to be the out and out? Well, not out and out right back, but do you think he'll be the cover of the right backs behind Mazzari?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I think Guerrero can cover for Kimmich, and yeah, I think Limer can be, his backup, but also a backup for the defensive midfielder, and then a backup for a right back role, but also again a backup for an attacking midfielder. But what I mean is, when you are winning, Conrad is someone you can bring instead of your attacking midfielder, instead of Müller or Musiala, and he can lock the game in. You will be chasing the ball. He's really good chasing forward. He's really good pressing. He has an tireless engine. And yeah, that's the best way to use him, is to like let him run free in the midfield, trying to chase every ball and win it for you. Because once you get the ball, he's very, very dangerous going forward as well. He's purely a Leipzig player. The way they play is Konrad Leimer. It's really the definition of the Leipzig play style. And for me, yeah, that doesn't give him enough control. He loves chaos in the midfield. He's not someone who will try to like keep the tempo slow and stuff like that. He will always try to speed it up, to go forward. That's why he did very well as a right back in the last game. And yeah, I think he can just be that, like versatile player that you can rely on basically everywhere on the field, but also, you can like rely on him as a starter as well for certain games, like in the cup, and in the Champions League as well, like especially away, he can be very, very useful.
Yeah, no, I know where you're coming from, definitely. With obviously we spoke about the failed transfers on deadline day and whatever, and obviously the board probably went in too late for Tuchel. But what do you expect? Expect? I don't know if that's the word. What do you want to happen in January?
Yeah, I would say I expect a lot. We have a sporting director. I think he's already working on this. We clearly have a need, like we can't go a full season with the squad. Like few injuries will come, as a lot of people do predict, and I also predict them. We have Mazraoui going to play with Morocco in the African Cup. We have a lot of issues. We basically just solved the depth in terms of like goalkeeping with New York coming back. We have 3 good goalkeepers, which is good. We still need a fullback, probably. We still need a center back. We still need a defensive midfielder. We still need someone to replace Kimmich. So there's a lot of like positions that we can like talk about and say we need to strengthen this and that. I expect at least 3 new signings. I think it's very important to have a 4th center back, have a defensive midfielder, maybe the one Tuchel really wants. So yeah, Huao maybe, and probably add another fullback or something like that, where he can replace maybe Mazraoui. But if Conrad does well from here to then, maybe we should like look at other positions as well and just leave him taking care of that role. But I would love to have another fullback, maybe not a big name, just someone who can really do a good job and cover for the center back and right back role, and then have Limer covering for the midfield role, and that way we have like basically 3 new signings, and they can do the job and they can strengthen the team, and that was the goal I think we were going for this last few days of the Mercato, but we just failed.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I'm with you on that one. It just didn't work on the day, unfortunately. Otherwise, it would have been one hell of a transfer window. On the transfer window, what do you rate the transfer window without those players coming in?
Tough. For me, like, look, I think first the right thing was to bring the right hierarchy. I really love how a lot of people make fun of them, but this new board or supervisory board, I think, whatever. But yeah, the board I think did great. We had good names, good people who knew how to work well together. That was really important because we needed to have a unity on the market and we needed to be clear on what we want to achieve. We missed that with Nagelsmann. We missed that with Flick. I think Brazo had a little bit tough time working with these 2 names, and that led to in the end having Thomas Tuchel. But right now, I think we did very well on that level. Now, after that, the strategy was right. We sold enough players to generate enough revenue to buy the players, but we also like emptied space for the right players. We knew that we needed first a striker. We got a striker. I think there's just really the defensive midfielder position that I saw early on. There was a big need for one. Thomas Tuchel was very clear. They wanted Declan Rice, and then I don't know why they just stopped looking. Maybe they were not sure about the other options, but then if you're not sure, you're not sure. You don't come until the last day, and then you try to get one for 70 million. I think that was not maybe the right decision. But yeah, all in all, I rate them maybe a 7. In all fairness, I think a lot of the good work was in terms of sales. We really did the sales we needed to do. There's probably just 1 or 2 players that we still maybe need to sell at some point this year or next year. Now the right work as well continues. We have to deliver those contract extensions for Kimmich and Davis at least, and then work our way towards January, and then just keep the right approach. I think Fulham were very cooperative, so if we keep maybe the right approach, if we keep working with them on this deal, we get our defensive midfielder, and then we basically have just 4th center back and maybe a full back, and then we are complete.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that one, mate. Yeah, without a doubt. Well, on the obviously you just mentioned it, and I was about to mention it. On obviously the 2 contracts that we need to get done. Do you think they'll get done? Because I know that obviously Davies was flirting with playing more and attacking and playing maybe for Real Madrid?
It's tough. I really don't know what to expect from both situations. I think Kimmich, I see him wanting to stay. I see him wanting to become Bayern's captain. I see him also wanting to experience something new. So it in the end is going to be his choice. He's his own agent, so you can't even say that, people will like tell him to do this or that. I think it's his own choice. I think he's very comfortable in Munich. He's playing with his best friends. Um, and that's something very lovely. He's very highly rated, even though German media try to give him a hard time. But in reality, he's a big player, and one that we should keep at all costs. I also see him as Bayern captain. I know a lot of people want different captains, but for me, he brings that mentality. He's a winner, and we need one. So yeah, I really love Joshua. I hope to see him stay and continue with us as long as possible. For Davis, same thing. He came in as a kid. I think the best thing is to stay at Bayern at least for another 4 or 5 years. Hopefully, that's his decision as well. I think we were very close to signing that extension with him. Now things changed, and I don't know if the offer would still be lucrative enough for him and would still be what he wants. But hopefully, yeah, he also stays. Like, looking at the way we play right now, I think is very important. Looking at the market as well, I don't see many great available left backs. So hopefully, yeah, both stay and we can like secure those 2 extensions. But it's very, very important to work on that early on. So I expect Freund to already start working on them and try and get them done.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one as well. I can see Joshua staying. I don't like the fact that he was flirting with Barca. I can't stand Barcelona. But the only thing with Davies is like, I understand where he was coming from, and I know it was taken out of context. A lot of Bayern fans were taken out of context, me included, until I actually watched it. And he was like basically talking about him coming in as an Iron Robben replacement, and that's why he wanted to play more up top, and then got stuck in left back, and he's still there. But even for Real Madrid, there's no chance he's playing as a winger.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Now, you look at their options on the wing, maybe there would be a lot more opportunities there at the moment, maybe because, yeah, they even have tendency to play Valverde there as a right winger. That could be something for him. It could work for him for some time, but I think if they sign him, the idea is to play him as a left back. They clearly have a need there. I've seen them the last game. I think Alaba was playing left back. I only watched the last few minutes, to be honest. But yeah, when I started watching, Alaba was playing there, and yeah, he's not young anymore and probably wants to play more as a center back. So if he comes, Davies will definitely for me play as a left back in Real Madrid. And yeah, Real Madrid is the type of clubs that usually make no concessions on this. They are very clear from the beginning. You come here to play for Real Madrid. You don't come here to decide where you want to play and stuff like that. And I really like that about them. They're very rigid in their approach, but it works,
Yeah, no. I'm with you on that one. Most definitely. You're getting some love in the chat as well, by the way. So big up to you as all. Thank you for coming on, bro. What do you think of the Champions League draw and who we got and who others got?
Good, great group. I think it's extremely good. Like, I was happy. It's great teams. A lot harder than people think. I think Galatasaray will be quite tough. But yeah, I do expect Bayern to win the group. I think we have enough talent to go on and win all the games if possible. I would not mind if we lose certain few games at the very end, because I think we need to rotate and we might not have the right bench for that. But yeah, I love the group. I think it's going to be a lot of exciting games. I'm looking forward to playing in Turkey. Playing Galatasaray must be quite fun, but also in Germany as well. The games will be like lit, same as Manchester United as well. Just great games, great fixtures to look forward to, and honestly, I'm excited.
Yeah, well, what do you think? Obviously on the group, but obviously you said you think we're top the group. Who do you think will actually come second? I know that you're a Bayern fan. I'm a Bayern fan. And a lot of people that are watching probably will be Bayern fans. I know we have the odd one that isn't in here. Some United fans, Real Madrid fans, so on. But do you actually see United getting through? Because I know that Galatasaray are a hard team to go against.
Yeah, I think Man United still have like enough quality to go forward. I hope maybe not. I don't know. I think their last signings were good. There's a lot of issues still with the team. Obviously, now it will depend. In Galatasaray, like last year, a lot of people didn't expect Inter to go through, and they surprised many, and they managed to like go ahead of Barcelona in the end. So yeah, you never know with this type of games. You never know with this type of groups. I don't even know if Bayern will qualify. Like you have to win it on the pitch. As I've said, it's a lot harder than people expect. It's going to be really tough. It's going to expect a lot of from us. And yeah, I just hope we win the games we need to win, and then make sure that we are first to avoid like a tough like draw in the next round. And yeah, if we can like win the group, it's great. But yeah, I just don't expect it to be easy. Don't expect it to be easy for Man United as well. I think yeah, it's gonna be like three teams competing as hard as possible. Galatasaray made a lot of investment this summer. They probably don't want to lose out on a UCL qualification. But yeah, if they go to the Europa League, I think they won't be that dissatisfied. They just, yeah, if you try and win against these teams, this is what you want when you have a team like Galatasaray. When you build that squad, you want to play the best, because that's how you get the best out of your players. I think their players will be super excited to play against Bayern and Man United. The pitch, the stadium will be lit. So yeah, I do expect like a lot of tough games in this group for sure.
Yeah, like I tried to go to. Well, I tried to get tickets to. I know that the tickets sold out in 6 minutes, which was nuts for the United Bayern game. I was trying, and there is some tickets still available. I was trying to get some tickets, but wow, they're expensive, man. Like I thought they would be fine, but then they added on like a £52 fee. And what do you make of the ticket prices? Because I know that Germany, and the Germans themselves, when they come over to the UK, I was at the City Stadium when we got battered 3-0. They're very against the ticket prices.
Same for me. I live very close to Germany, not in Germany, but quite close, and I always love to go there when I can. I think the closest city to me is Cologne. But yeah, I try to go to games as much as I can, usually with friends or something like that. And yeah, it's the prices are just perfect. If I could live in Germany, I think I would go to the stadium every day probably, because the prices are just affordable. It's not too expensive, and you can afford to go like twice a month easily. And yeah, it's something that I really appreciate, as well as the membership. Being a Bayern member fan, membership, having the Bayern membership is not that expensive as well. I think it's less expensive than Dortmund, for example, which was a shocking to me. But yeah, you see how like the clubs in Germany try their best for the fans, and you appreciate that as a fan, because it's something that shows in the pricing, shows in how taken care of, and how your voice is heard, and yeah, that's something that I always loved about Bayern, and German clubs in general. To be honest, I think it's a lot less outside Germany. I've been in France. I've been to stadiums like Paris, PSG. Their games are so expensive. It's crazy. Like it's mental. As well as like many teams, I think in France, from what I've heard. But yeah, like in Belgium as well, the price is not that high. But still, I think Germany is obviously, I think, the best fan culture, the best club fan culture in the world. So yeah, kudos to them. I think they did great work, and you can feel it honestly as a fan.
Yeah, most definitely. And even when I do the watch-alongs for every game, like we get people coming in and they're like, what are you watching it on? And I tell them, and then like, oh, shall I watch it on ESPN? I'm like, well, how much is it? Like, what, like, I don't want you to spend too much. And then they're like, oh, it's like $5. And then I'm like, what? $5 a month? Over here in the UK, it's like £42 a month.
Nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. I think for us it was like 23. But we have a lot of like stuff. But yeah, it depends on where you are. But the Bundesliga is honestly like, it's so affordable. Like going to the stadiums, the fan culture is great. The stadiums are always full. You can like have a beer. You can like just chill. You can watch a game. Honestly, it's yeah, it's a great thing for them, and I hope we manage to get that all around the world. But I think the Premier League is really pushing forward for higher, more expensive tickets, and I think that a lot of like leagues are following suit, because it's just the way it works. And if you know that the people will come anyway, so why not sell them very expensive? That's I think the thing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I have to agree with you. You're right. You hit the nail on the head. It's like people are following suit, and that's why obviously all the billionaires are pushing towards. Obviously, we as Bundesliga fans and the Bundesliga in itself obviously got the 50+1 rule, so they can't even touch us. But like, I think that's why the Premier League owners are all of these billionaires that spend all of this stupid money and whatever. But what do you? I do have one more question for you, and then we'll go through the chat. Thank you again for your time, bro. What do you think we can actually win this summer?
Good question. I think honestly, my goal is to reach the semifinals of the Champions League, win the double. I think we made enough investment to aim for that, and I think there is still more to come in January. So I have good goals. Nothing crazy, but yeah, if we can win the Champions League and maybe lose the Pokal, I would be very happy. It's all about the Champions League for me at the moment. I really want to see my team winning it again. And yeah, it's also why I don't see like any transfer as vital. I see like the ones that really make you stronger in the Champions League, really improve you. Those are usually the ones that you need. I look at how Real Madrid won it 3 times, and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's a little bit of know-how there, and maybe we should look at them as an example. Because yeah, you need certain players, certain difference makers who make you, like the best team in the Champions League, and that's something that we missed maybe the past few years. So yeah, I have like good goals. I think Kane brings a lot of like hope up front. I think Kim brings a lot of hope, in the back. Maybe Neuer is back soon as well. So yeah, a lot of things are going well. Maybe the squad is not big enough, but January is our hope, and yeah, the goals should stay high, I believe. How about you, actually?
Well, obviously, I told you that I'm not a massive fan of Tuchel, and I want to see your reaction to this. So as soon as I'm finished, I'm going to unmute because I want to know if you're laughing or not. But for me personally, I don't rate Tuchel like I've said in this one, and obviously that's just my personal opinion, and that's obviously why we have all different fans on here to give all different opinions, because it's not a minority on here. You can have whatever opinion you want. But I generally think we can win the Bundesliga. I want a double. If we get a double, I've already set the bet and it's on the channel and everyone's keeping me to it, that I will wear the whole transfer window from until it ends, like it's just done now. I will wear a Thomas Tuchel t-shirt. So basically a t-shirt with his face on it for the whole thing. I've said that if we win the double. And for the treble, if we win a treble, and this is obviously to do with confidence, and again, I would love nothing more to win a treble. Would be I'm gonna shave me dome, shave my head, shave all the hair off. So yeah.
I love that. I think if we win the treble, we should all like paint our hair blonde, like do the Benjamin Pavard challenge and go all blonde, all of us on the FT. Could be really fun, like to just see pictures like popping on the timeline of people going blonde. But yeah, I think it's cool. I love people that have different opinions. I think that's the reason that brings me to Twitter. I just don't like people when people attack others for having different opinions. For me, it's all about that. Like you have every right to think that this coach is not the right one, and yeah, as a fan, it's your right to not agree with certain calls and that, but it doesn't mean that you're more or less of a fan than the other. So for me, as long as we keep that clear and everyone is respecting everyone's opinion, that's the point. I come to Twitter, I know that certain of my opinions are wrong, but I come to share them, and I know that certain can be right, and they end up maybe being right, and I'm happy, and that's part of it. So the goal is to test our ideas and see who learns what from the other. So I really appreciate your honesty on Thomas Tuchel, and I think that's a good call, to be like clear and honest about it, because yeah, maybe you're right. Who knows?
Yeah. No. And again, I don't want to be right, by the way. Like, I'm not one of those people. I'm a real person. I say it how it is. I'm not like some of these sheep. And obviously, you've given your opinion. You could see that you believe your opinion, and you're not just going with the crowd or whatever. Where like some people do, and again, that's just their personality. Some people do latch on to other people's comments and so on. But for me, it's just, yeah, I just personally don't rate him. But again, if he wins us the treble, that's why I said I'll shave my hair, because I don't care, because it means my club will be winning. And most of my hair is going anyway, to be perfectly honest.
No, I get you. I mean, listen, it's that, you have to be clear. Okay, this player maybe is not for me. Maybe I don't like this coach. His ideas don't match mine. Fair enough. But yeah, if he proves me wrong, then I'm happy, because in the end, the goal is to see Bayern being successful. So for me, that's the process as well. Like, I was not fully behind the signing of Wow, but okay, if he comes and then he proves me wrong, I mean, just come. Like, if he was signed, I would be very happy and I would support him all the way, because yeah, then he's a Bayern player, and then he's a big signing for us, one of the most expensive probably in our history. So you have to back it. You have to hope it would work. You have to put your ego aside and just be, like a fan for once, and yeah, be fully behind your players. So yeah, for me, that's that's real. Like you're very real when you're talking about Tuchel, and I can see, like how you maybe not like him, but you're still a Bayern fan and you still want to see this team succeed, and I respect that.
Yeah, most definitely, man. Most definitely. But again, thank you for your time, bro. If for anyone that isn't following you, which most people probably are, please go and follow Dale Costas on Twitter. It's in the description. Please go and do that. We'll link up again, most definitely. Thank you, bro. And yeah, man. Any final thoughts, bro?
Well, thank you for the invitation. This was really fun, to be honest. It's always a pleasure to meet other fans and to discuss, like live. I'm sorry I could not put the camera on. Probably sure some people would make fun of that, but yeah, I'm not home, and that was complicated to have the mic and all the camera and stuff here. So yeah, again, thank you for the invitation. Sorry I could not come all in, but next time I will bring the camera on and make sure that people can see me. From my side, I would say if there is any more questions from the chat, because I could not really look at them. So if you have any questions, I would love to answer them. If not, then this was great, and thank you as well for your time. Thank you for making this happen.
No, bro, it's absolutely fine. The only question I can actually see in here, bro, other than people saying that you're the GOAT, is this one. Can you ask him what he thinks of Mats Wiefer? Exactly what characteristics I can say that word that he possesses that Polina doesn't.
Good question. So for Mats, I'll be honest. It's his what he does with the ball. He's a dual monster. He's very tall, very good in the air, as good in ground duels. So it's someone that can win the ball, someone that can chase it, someone that has really long legs, very hard to dribble past him, and that's something that strikes you the very first time you watch him. But beyond that, it's what he does with the ball that made him really special for me. I think after I've been talking about him, a lot of people saw that. I've even seen like more people bring his data, and you could see some people comparing him with Busquets, and that's what I'm talking about. When you get to be compared with a player as good as Sergi, then that means you're very good with the ball, and a very good defensive midfielder, and he's all that. So for me, that was the thing that made him very special. Now, obviously, everyone has a right to disagree or agree, but I would just say, like, watch him. He's playing the Champions League this season. Hopefully he will go on to have a great season, and then we will see if Bayern is any interested or not, but I'm sure that guy is going to go places.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, thank you for coming on, bro. We'll do the echo now because we're ending. I'm not really bothered. Thank you for coming on, mate, and we'll definitely link up again, bro.
Thank you for the invitation, and anytime, for sure. Appreciate it.
100%, bro. 100%. Till then, though, people, make sure to smash the thumbs up button. Like it says here, smash the thumbs up. If you haven't watched this live, please let me know what you think on what I've said, what Augustus has said. If you disagree, then that's absolutely fine. That's the whole point of the fan channel. And please do hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you for the constant support, people. And until then, we'll see you on the next one. Mia Samia. Peace out, people.